May peace and gentle light surround your heart at this very moment, dear soul. Today, we are going to talk about something that lives quietly inside every human being, a question we carry in our chests, but rarely speak out loud. What happens when we close our eyes for the very last time? Where does the spirit go when the body can no longer hold it? Have you ever wondered what the soul feels in that exact moment when it leaves the flesh behind? Is there darkness? Is there fear? Is there loneliness waiting on the other side? And could it be, as Edgar Cayce told us with quiet certainty throughout his life, that death is simply the moment when we finally wake up to who we truly are? If these questions have ever kept you awake at night, if you have lost someone and the missing of them sits heavy in your chest like a stone, then this message was meant to find you today. What I am about to share with you is not fantasy, not empty comfort, but the wisdom that came through one of the most remarkable spiritual channels America has ever known. Edgar Cayce, the humble man from Kentucky, who became known as the Sleeping Prophet, gave thousands of readings while in a trance state, and many of those readings spoke directly about what happens to the soul after the body dies. He described the journey with such detail, such tenderness, that those who heard his words found their fear of death transformed into something else entirely. In the next few minutes, you will discover what Cayce revealed about the first 3 hours after death. And I promise you, what you learn here may change the way you think about your own life, the way you love, the way you say goodbye, and the way you choose to spend whatever time remains for you on this earth. Take a deep breath, let your shoulder drop, and allow yourself to receive this truth, not with fear, but with the quiet knowing of someone who is finally ready to understand. So many of us were taught to see death as the great enemy, the final darkness, the loss from which there is no return. But Edgar Cayce saw something very different. Through his readings, he described death not as an ending, but as a doorway. Not as loss, but as return. Not as punishment, but as homecoming. He explained that in the very first moments after the last breath leaves the body, the soul does not feel terror. There may be surprise, yes, there may be deep emotion, but there is no angry judge waiting, no pit of eternal darkness. Instead, there is a kind of quiet brightness, a sacred pause in which everything begins to make sense in ways it never could before. Cayce spoke of spirits newly released from their bodies, arriving in the spiritual dimension and feeling something they had not felt in years, or perhaps in their entire earthly life. They felt free. Free from pain, free from heaviness, free from the limitations of a body that had grown tired or sick or simply old. According to the readings Cayce gave, the first hour after death is a time of awakening and recognition. The soul, still connected to the body by a thin cord of light, begins to realize that it is no longer bound by physical laws. It can see the room where the body lies. It can see the faces of those who are crying. It can hear the prayers being whispered, but it no longer feels the weight of flesh. There is a strange and beautiful lightness, as if a heavy coat has finally been removed after being worn for far too long. In these first moments, many souls try to speak to the living. They want to say, "I am still here, I am not gone, please do not cry so hard." But the vibration is different now. The voice that once moved through vocal cords now moves through energy, through feeling, through the subtle language of spirit. The living cannot hear with their ears, but if they are quiet, if they are open, they can feel something. A warmth, a presence, a knowing that the one they love has not truly left. Cayce explained that during this first hour, the soul begins to remember. Not just the life it has just finished, but glimpses of lives before, faces it has known across centuries, loves that have traveled with it through time. The forgetting that happens when we are born into a body starts to lift like morning fog, and the soul begins to see the larger picture of its existence. This is not a moment of judgment from some outside force. It is a moment of clarity from within. The soul sees its own choices laid out before it, the moments of kindness and the moments of cruelty, the times it loved freely and the times it held back out of fear. Everything is seen with perfect honesty, and yet there is no condemnation from the universe. The only judge is the soul itself, and that inner judge is both more honest and more compassionate than any court on earth. What Cayce described next is perhaps the most comforting truth for anyone who has ever lost someone they love. No one dies alone. Even if the body breathes its last in an empty room, even if there is no human hand to hold, there are always spiritual presences waiting. Cayce called them guides, loved ones who have gone before. Angels of comfort, whose only purpose is to help the newly freed soul find its way. They gather around like family, waiting at an airport for someone returning from a long journey. And when the soul recognizes them, when it sees the faces it has missed for so long, the reunion is beyond anything earthly words can describe. The tears of the living become the joy of the other side. As the second hour begins, the soul moves further from the physical world and deeper into the spiritual dimension. The thin cord of light that connected it to the body grows thinner and finally dissolves, and with that dissolution comes a complete release from everything material. The soul no longer feels pulled back toward the earth. It is fully present in a new reality, a reality that Cayce described as more real, more vivid, more alive than anything we experience in our physical bodies. Colors are brighter, sounds are purer, emotions are deeper. Everything that seems solid on earth now reveals itself as shadow compared to the substance of the spiritual world. During this second hour, the reunions deepen. It is not just a greeting at the gate, but a true coming together of souls who have traveled together across many lifetimes. Parents who passed years ago embrace their children who have finally returned. Spouses separated by death for decades find each other again and feel the love that never dimmed despite the years apart. Children who left the earth too young are there, grown in spirit, radiant with light, welcoming the parents who never stop missing them. Cayce emphasized in his readings that these connections are not based on the roles we played in one single life. A mother in this life may have been a sister in another, a friend in another, a child in another. The relationships shift and change across incarnations, but the love, the true soul-to-soul bond, remains constant throughout eternity. But not every reunion is easy. Cayce also spoke of souls who meet again across the veil and must work through unfinished pain. Two souls who hurt each other deeply on earth may find themselves face to face in the spiritual realm, and there, without the distractions of physical life, they must finally deal with what lies between them. This is not punishment, but opportunity. Higher spirits, those who have evolved beyond the need for earthly lessons, serve as guides and mediators, helping these wounded souls find the path to forgiveness. And forgiveness, Cayce taught, is the only door to lasting peace. Resentment, held in the heart, becomes a chain that binds the soul, but forgiveness, even when it is difficult, even when the wound was deep, sets both souls free to continue their journey toward the light. The spiritual world, according to Cayce, is not chaotic or random. There is order, there is purpose, there is a structure built on love and wisdom rather than power and control. Every soul has access to guidance. Every soul is offered help. Every soul is given the opportunity to grow. Even the most lost, even those who live lives of cruelty or selfishness, are not abandoned. There are workers of light who specialize in reaching those souls, descending into the darker regions of the spiritual realm to offer a hand, to show the way back toward healing. No soul is ever truly lost, though some may wander for a long time before they are ready to accept the help that is always available to them. As the soul settles into its new awareness during this second hour, it often feels a pull to check on those still living on earth. It may visit the family home, stand beside a sleeping child, watch over a grieving spouse. Cayce explained that this is natural and allowed, especially in the early time after passing. The soul needs to know that the ones it left behind are okay, and sometimes the living need to feel that presence too. Have you ever felt a sudden warmth when thinking of someone who passed? Have you ever smelled a familiar perfume or heard a song at just the right moment? These are not coincidences. These are visits, small touches from the other side, meant to say, I am still here, I still love you. We will meet again. Now, I want to pause here for just a moment, not to break the flow, but to speak directly to you, the one listening right now. I know that not everyone who finds this message does so by accident. Some of you were searching for answers. Some of you were guided here by a feeling you could not explain. And some of you were carrying a grief so heavy that you were not sure you could bear another day. I see you. I feel you. And I want you to know that you are not alone in this. If this message is bringing some comfort to your heart, if you feel even a small piece of peace settling into your spirit, then I have a gentle request. Leave a word in the comments, any word. Maybe the name of someone you miss, maybe just the word peace or hope. When we write our hearts, we connect them to something larger than ourselves. And if you feel called to share this with someone else who might need it, please do. Not for numbers or fame, but because kindness passed forward is kindness multiplied. You never know whose night you might brighten with a single share. The third hour after death, according to Edgar Cayce, is when the soul enters its deepest state of reflection and choice. By now, the initial surprise has faded, the reunions have brought comfort, and the soul is ready to look honestly at the life it has just completed. Cayce described a process that he called the review, not a trial where an angry deity reads out a list of sins, but a personal viewing of every moment of the life just lived. The soul watches its own story unfold like a movie, but this is no ordinary movie. In this review, the soul does not just see what it did, it feels what others felt because of its actions. Every kindness given is felt from the receiving end. Every cruelty inflicted is felt from the wounded heart. This is not punishment, it is education. It is the soul finally understanding the full impact of its choices. Cayce taught that this review is both the hardest and the most healing part of the transition. Hard, because there is no hiding from the truth when truth is the only light in the room. Healing, because understanding leads to growth, and growth is why we came to earth in the first place. The soul sees where it succeeded and where it failed, where it loved courageously and where it allowed fear to close its heart. And in seeing, it learns. Some souls, after their review, feel called to return to earth quickly, eager to do better, to repair what was broken, to love where they once withheld love. Others choose to stay in the spiritual realm for a time, serving as helpers, learning at a higher level, preparing for whatever comes next. Nothing is forced, everything is choice. This is the great gift of the divine. We are always free, and we are always loved, no matter what we choose. What does this mean for us, the ones still walking on the earth? It means that every single day matters. Every word we speak leaves a mark. Every act of kindness builds light within our souls. Every time we choose forgiveness over bitterness, we are preparing ourselves for a peaceful passage when our time comes. Cayce was very clear about this. There is no cheating the system, no last-minute tricks, no way to live selfishly and then suddenly be transformed at the moment of death. The life we live is the garment we wear into eternity. If we weave it with threads of love and service, it will shine like the sun. If we weave it with threads of anger and greed, it will hang heavy on our shoulders until we choose to change. But here is the beautiful part. It is never too late to start. Whatever you have done before this moment, whatever regrets you carry, this very day can be the beginning of a new pattern. One kind word today begins to heal the harsh words of yesterday. One act of generosity today begins to balance the selfishness of the past. Cayce believed in the infinite mercy of the Creator, and he taught that the universe is designed not to punish us, but to help us grow. Every challenge is a lesson. Every pain is an invitation to become stronger, kinder, more compassionate. Death is not the end of this process. It is simply the moment when we step back and see the larger picture before continuing on. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want to speak to your heart one more time. Thank you for staying with me, for opening yourself to these ideas, for trusting this space with your attention and your emotion. I do not know your name, I do not know your story, but I know that something brought you here today. And I believe that something was not an accident. If this message has touched you, I would be deeply grateful if you would consider subscribing to this channel and leaving your thoughts in the comments. But more than that, I would love to hear your story. Have you lost someone and felt their presence afterward? Have you had a dream that felt like a true visit from the other side? Have you experienced something you cannot explain, but that changed the way you see death and life? Share it below. Your words might be the exact comfort someone else needs to read today. And if there is a topic you would like me to explore in a future message, please tell me. This is not my channel alone. It is a gathering place for all of us who seek, who wonder, who hope. Together, we are building something sacred. May your heart find peace in these truths. May your fear of death transform into trust in the continuing journey. May you feel in your quiet moments the presence of those who love you from beyond the veil. And may every day you are given be a gift you use wisely, knowing that the love you give now is the only treasure you take with you when you go. Peace be upon you, dear soul. Until we meet again, either here in this life or on the other shore, may you walk always in light.